Hey guys, so you just got a Bambu Labs A1 or you're thinking about getting one and you're curious about some things that you probably should go ahead and grab along with the machine. And in this video I'm going to show you 5 different things that I think are really essential when dealing with the Bambu Lab A1 or the A1 combo. Some of these things are also going to deal with the A1 Mini as well. The first thing you want to do, and I recommend getting this before you even use the machine, is you're going to want to purchase a good SD card. I learned this the hard way. Apparently there's an issue with the quality of the SD cards that ship with the A1. They're not very good. I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. And I was getting failed prints. I was getting weird issues on my machine. And this is within 2 weeks of me buying it. It would skip layers. It would just fail in the middle. And it was also doing something weird where it would print like half of the model and then it would tell me that the model was 100% complete. And I couldn't find out what it was. I dug around the internet forever. This was just happening every once in a while out of the blue. And I finally came across a post where this guy was talking about changing the SD card. And it didn't really make much sense to me at the time. But now that I know how the machine actually works, it makes perfect sense. So basically what it does is whenever you send a print to your A1, the A1 has no RAM or accessible memory inside of the unit. The only thing that's inside of the unit is the actual OS. So it saves your 3D print file on the SD card and it reads this file in real time. So what's actually going on is somewhere along your print, the stock SD card is becoming corrupt and the machine isn't able to read off of it, and that makes the machine think that the model is finished, but in all reality the SD card is failing. I got a SanDisk installed in mine. I've never had the problem again. So yeah, just don't even deal with the loss of filament, the wasted time, the messed up models. Just go ahead and buy a better SD card right out of the box, swap it out, and don't have to deal with that headache. I don't do time-lapse on my machine. I just do 3D prints. So I just went with a standard SanDisk. I put a 32 gigabyte in there, I believe. If you're going to be doing things like time-lapse video, I would recommend maybe going with an industrial SanDisk model or a model that's designed for digital photography, because those cards have a higher read and write limit on them. They'll last longer than just the standard ones, but even just the standard ones are fine. Anything's way better than what you're going to put in there. Next, I want to talk about something else that I didn't know was so important when I first got my machine. When I ordered the A1, I knew nothing about 3D printing. This was my first machine. And I saw online that everybody was selling these build plates. Everybody had different build plates, you know, they're different colors. They look cool, but I didn't think it was a necessity. I didn't think you needed build plates. But I was wrong. What you really want to do is get what they call a cool plate. Apparently the build plate that ships with the Bambu machines, I don't want to say they're not good, but they're not great. And I'm going to show you guys 2 different models that I ordered, the 2 that I use, and these things are amazing. So I'm going to show you the 2 build plates that I ordered that I use the most. The first one is from BQ, and this is the Cryo Grip. I believe it is a Glacier. This thing is really good. They're pretty affordable. They're easy to get. I want to say this was like, I think they sell between like 15 to 25 bucks normally. I got these for like $8 a piece on sale. This next plate I'm going to show you is actually my favorite that I'm using right now, and it is from New Makers, and it is the Ice Grip. This is basically the same thing as the Cryo Grip, but it has this like tacky coating on the top of it that works extremely well. And what these are good for is really your first layer adhesion. With the stock plate, I was having trouble where little pieces of the model would peel up, or it would have a little ball that didn't stick, and then I would have to pause my print and get out my clippers and try to cut these little pieces off before it messed the rest of the print up. And you know, things were popping off, and the build plate and everything. I got these cool plates, never had another issue. Definitely get you one of these. Again, the BQ, the Cryo Grip plate, those are pretty cheap. They work really good. Personally, I think the New Makers Ice Grip is even better than that plate. These are a little more expensive. These are between like 35 to 40 bucks, but they work really well. But even if you get the cheaper plate, it still works great, man. And look for some sales, and I recommend getting a couple of them, because what I like to do is whenever I'm doing a print, it's usually multiple plates, and you don't want to peel the model off the plate while the plate's still hot. So I'll let the print finish. I'll just take the whole plate off, I'll put it on top of the desk, and I'll put a new plate in, and then I can just start another print, and I don't have to wait for that cool down period before I can pop the model off. So that's the two things I really recommend going out and buying. That's going to cost money. Your SD card, which is a must-have, and really get a cool plate. These things, man, it's going to make printing so much easier, and it's going to really cut down on fails and adhesion issues, and you're not going to have to, you know, put glue sticks all over your plate and deal with all that crap. Just get a cool plate. You know, you'll thank me later for that. Now, the next couple of things I'm going to talk about is going to be printable. You're going to be able to print these items on your machine, and they're going to make a big difference. So, yeah, let's check those out. Now we're down here looking at my actual printer, and I have this on a shelf under my desk. The first thing you definitely want to get, and I know it sucks to get your printer in and you're wanting to, you know, print cool stuff, but you really need to make a poo bucket. You know, this thing slings poo like a cage full of pissed off monkeys, and you know, you don't want poo all over the place. Definitely print you a poo bin. You know, it really should come with one of these. It's about time to empty mine. It's a must-have, man. Get one of these and just save the headache of having to clean this crap up from all over the place. The second thing is you're going to see this flap right here. This is a deflector. It's going to sling the poo from this chute right here, and it just hits this and falls down, and it snaps right on the back of your machine. Again, it's just a quality of life thing. The fourth item you want to get is going to be right here. And this is a secondary nozzle cleaner. And man, that thing just makes a world of difference. You have the stock cleaner is back here. The problem is your hot end will do its thing. You'll purge filament and all this crap, and then it comes and calibrates on the bed before it cleans the nozzle. It cleans the nozzle last. So, you know, it has a tendency to still have a little bit of filament hanging out that it could drag to the bed and just leave somewhere, and then it messes up your print. When you print this model and you put this nozzle clean on here, every time that it purges filament, every time it changes color, anytime it comes home like this, it scrapes this bar, and that's going to clean your nozzle way better. Now, you print the file itself, and then the actual little teeth here, this, when you purchase the machine, it comes with some extra strips for the back side.
You just cut one down smaller and it fits right in there perfectly. Now I chose the model that has this front flap here, so if it scrapes something, that'll also direct it to the poo bucket. You can get it with or without this flap. And kind of the last things is really the only thing on the list that I would say is you know, not a necessity. You don't have to have these things. Everything prior to that is something I would highly recommend you getting. You know, the basket, the plates, the SD card, you know, the nozzle cleaner, all those things are must-haves. The next thing is just this little piece right here. And all this does is it holds that back wire and your tubes that come from the AMS, and it just takes some stress off of them, because this thing's flying back and forth, and it gives it a higher stress point instead of being stressed at the fitting itself. I also have these on the AMS itself. It's the same concept. They snap on there and it just moves that stress point up. And there's one here as well on the filament cutter that just holds that wire and moves the stress point up. And this one actually gives this lever right here a little more rigidity, because I've seen some people have a problem with this breaking off. So that makes it a little more rigid, gives it a little more beef to it. But yeah, I think it's a good idea to have these little pieces on there. It might not be something you necessarily have to have, but they're nice to have, you know. But definitely everything else, you want to get the SD card, which if you're not aware, goes in right here. You definitely want the plates. As you see, I have a new maker's plate on there now. The stock build plate is fine. You'll be able to print on it. You know, it's going to do its job. But these plates, they just work so much better. Either the new makers or the BQ Cryo Grip. So yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, just hit me up.